Gentlemen, can you hear me all right at the back there? Yes, I'll try and talk into the microphone as best I can and try and keep to the script. My name is Richard Evans and it's my pleasure to welcome you here today to the grand opening of Heron's Bakery in the town. I'll just walk through the sort of order of ceremonies. In a minute I'll introduce you to Carl Marshall, Councillor Marshall, who's chair of the museum. He's going to say a few words and just welcome you to the museum. And then I'm afraid you're going to have to put up with me again for a few more minutes when I tell you a little bit about the history of the building and why we ended up building a bakery here at Beamish. And then we're very lucky to have with us Stacey Stewart, those of you I'm sure you recognise, a well-known local celebrity, MasterChef finalist, author, all sorts of things. Stacey's going to cut the ribbon, and we've made sure that the scissors are really blunt, so that it'll be a really humiliating moment for Stacey. I think this is her 4th visit to Beamish this year, is that right, Stacey? Yes, correct. And she hasn't renewed her unlimited ticket yet, so we're going to charge her on the way out. We will then open the bakery, and of course there's lots of samples of things for you to taste and enjoy. You may not all be able to run it all at once, so you might have to be patient while we do that, but no doubt this lot of usual suspects who've been hard at work for the last 2 months will be there to serve you. So I'll just hand over first of all to Carl, Councillor Marshall. Would you like to say a few words on behalf of the museum?
Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Beamish. I promise I'll keep this short because I know we're all waiting to try some of the projects that's being prepared by the period food team here at Beamish. I was privileged to be chosen as chair of Beamish in the summer. As a local councillor from just up the road in Stanley, I've grown up watching Beamish develop over the years, telling the story of my region and my community to millions of visitors from across the world. Something I'm incredibly proud of, and everything it achieves, not just for the local area but for the whole region. And the bakery will add and help us employ more local people and attract even more visitors, sending the guests home with a real taste of the North East. Of course there's lots of people we must remember to thank for making this project possible, and I can't possibly mention everyone here, although I know Richard will touch on a few people who've been involved in creating it shortly. I'd like to say a special welcome and thank you to 2 groups of people here today, our museum visitors and the local authority partners. First of all, partners from the local authorities, it's great to see so many colleagues here today. Your support for Beamish as a regional resource for the people of the North East, both in the past and as the museum continues to grow in the future, is absolutely critical. So thank you for coming today and showing your support. I know you too are proud of what we're achieving here at Beamish. We look forward to working with you and our funders, including the Arts Council England and the Heritage Lottery Fund in the coming years, as we plan, can you believe it, to bring Beamish up to date by building a 1950s town and farm, and we're even allowing those people who want to the chance to stay overnight here at the museum. So exciting times ahead. Finally, a special word of welcome and thanks to our visitors. Beamish is pretty much unique in that all of our running costs have to be met by income we generate from our guests. Recently, we've enjoyed incredible increases in visitor numbers, up to more than 500,000 this year. This has allowed us to employ more people and create new projects, so a massive thanks to you all for your support. The entire bakery project, in fact, cost nearly £500,000, was paid from the income generated from our visitors to the museum, so thank you to you. Just give a round of applause for everybody for the support. All that's left for me to say is thank you all again for coming and for helping us mark this important grand opening. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your day in the Living Museum. Feel free to wander and explore, and of course return soon to buy some made by Beamish bread. Enjoy yourselves.
Thanks, Carl. So I'm just going to take a few moments to tell you about the story of this building, why we ended up doing what we've done here in front of you and created Heron's Bakery. This is one of the last projects of a programme of new buildings that we've been working on since 2009, and we've spent about £4 million across the museum over the last 4 years. we've created 100 jobs, and our visitor numbers have increased by about 70%. It's been a really tremendous success story for the region over the past 4 years. And this is, we're now, as Carl mentioned, looking forward to the next dozen years. Where just behind you over there, we're going to build a 1950s town. And that will, again, over the next 5 years, we hope, create about 95 jobs, as well as train about 50 people in construction skills. So these are really our exciting times. But the idea to create a working bakery dates back to 2008, when we asked our visitors, many of you here perhaps, what they would like to see at Beamish. And a bakery was right up there near the top of the list, just below a fish and chip shop, which you might have seen in another part of the museum. So the idea really started then, and we had collections, we had objects in store, but we didn't actually have a bakery building. And we started, as we always do, with a lot of research. We knew we had these collections, but we wanted to know what an Edwardian bakery at the turn of the beginning of the 20th century would actually look like. And unfortunately, sometimes the truth gets in the way, because the original plan was to sell stotties from this bakery. But when we actually started to do the research, as many of you will know, we found, of course, that stotties were not produced in bakeries like this. They were produced at home. So the truth can sometimes really get in the way. But never mind, we've built a communal bread oven over in the Pit Village to deal with the stotty making, and if you head over there, you'll see that at the back of Francis Street. So we did some research, and there are about 100 bakeries in the early 1900s in Durham, compared to about 450 chippies. So not much has changed in that respect. And early bakeries like this one in front of you are really aspirational in that period. These are new businesses, these are entrepreneurs. And if you go back into the trade manuals, you can read how to become an Edwardian baker. And that's what we did, really. None of us know anything about baking, do we, really? So we just had to learn it all and pretend to be Edwardian bakers. And they were really aspirational places, as I say, full of cakes, buns. Just let the tram go. Gives me a chance to turn my page. That's really good. So then we thought, well, where are we going to put it? And those of you that know Beamish for quite some time might have known this building as Fawlty Towers, or the Ghost Building if you came to one of our Halloween events. It's been a derelict shell here since the 1980s. It was built by a training scheme in the early 80s, and it was never finished. So it was always quite a sort of ghost town, derelict corner of the town here. And we took the decision back in 2008 to start work to consolidate it. And we had to spend probably about £250,000 doing lots of work that you can't see. There's a huge amount of steel in there, and many of our the building team are here somewhere. Where's Sean and his team? I don't know where they are. Can you put your hand up, Sean? There they all are over there. If you look at some of the detail, you can't see from where I am, but have a look at, for instance, the chimneys on the top, which were completely rebuilt by a local craftsman called Kenny. The roof was completely relaid by Sid. Sid's here somewhere, I think, another local builder. And our own team of joiners made all the counters, made all the windows, incorporated some stained glass from a bakery in South Shields into the window. So it was a real team effort. And if I could just ask you to give a round of applause to Sean, all the building team here. When we were planning out the interior, I changed my mind, we changed our mind at least 5 times, much to Sean's annoyance. At one stage we were thinking of creating quite a posh cafe, you know, like a sort of Betty's. And quite often people say, why don't you do a Betty's? You know, a sort of nice doilied kind of tea experience. And when we thought about it, we thought, well, upstairs, which is now Denise's office, which has the best view in Beamish, we thought that would be a nice spot for a cafe. But we decided against it mainly because not all our visitors would be able to enjoy it and experience it. We would only have a few seats in it, and it would probably be quite expensive. So we didn't really think that the idea of giving the experience to all the visitors, as many visitors as we possibly could, it didn't really fit into that. And then one dark night there was a light bulb moment when we suddenly realised that everyone in the North East likes pies. So upstairs we've now built a pie kitchen, and the next time you come back, I'm sure Denise and Joyce will have cracked pies. We're not serving pies today, but later on we are. But it gives you another reason to come back. So that's our plan. Nearly there. We also wanted to give our visitors a chance to sample some of the goods and have a go at kneading, which is why we've got a demonstration kitchen that way. And Jim Rees, who can't be with us today, but he sends his best wishes, oversaw the restoration of a most fantastic Wallace and Gromit-like machine called the Superhuman Kneader. And I'm sure it'll be in operation later on. And yeah, it is like the wrong trousers, really, if you know that film. So, with the building nearing completion, in the summer of this year, we secretly had it open in August while we were learning to make buns. And we needed to develop a team that were really good at making buns, cakes, all sorts of things. And we did have quite a lot of interest from franchise holders, businesses from the outside who saw a commercial opportunity here. But we wanted to manage it first as a museum exhibit and then as an income generator, if you like. So the most important thing about the bakery is the engagement, is the connection that hopefully you'll have with the staff that work it there. And I really want to pay special thanks to three ladies who are on my left here who have worked mostly on their days off as well as on the days when we pay them to get the bakery this far. This is our period food team. And somewhere Amanda, are you here, Amanda, out there somewhere? She's coming through. So these are these three ladies here. Rachel, who's one of on our training scheme to be a future leader of open air museums. Denise, who runs the period food team. This is Denise. And Joyce, who's our food development officer. So can we give those three and all the rest of the team? So that's enough from me, you'll be pleased to know. I'm now going to hand over to Stacey, who may say a few words, and then will fail conspicuously to cut the ribbon in the traditional fashion. So, I haven't got any scissors. You haven't got any scissors? There's some special scissors here. So we'll do some pausing and some for the photographers. I'll put these papers down. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day at Beamish. Do remember there's an agricultural show on today as well. And thank you for joining us on this special day.
Yes. Do you want me to have my shout?
Oh, you can shout.
I'll keep this really short and sweet. I'm a traditional baker, so I'm really proud and happy that there's something like this opening. I love Beamish, and hopefully this is going to be the jewel in the crown of the pit town. So, without further ado, do I pause it or just cut?
I would just do it.
Just do it, right?
We'll look fascinating.
Are you confident with the scissors? Thank you so much for inviting me, and I declare Heron's Bakery officially open. Flour delivery now by the look of it. It's gearing up. We need to bake.
We've got to bake the bread. It's like when you chuck an egg over your roof when you have the first egg. Right. Are we letting people through?
Shy Ben's getting out.
Shy Ben's getting out.